ask you something. Some of you may struggle with this. Some of you may not. Most of us know someone that have a hard time walking in a straight line. Have you ever noticed yourself or someone else when you walk, you may drift a little bit, right? And it's not like walking after you are leaving Jimmy Buffett's place, right? Or it's not like you're walking, you remember those old college days, trying to walk back to the dorm? It's not that walk. It's you're walking and then you just tend to drift a little bit. I had someone ask me, what causes that? And do you know, of all the lectures and topics we've covered, I've never covered that. I never even looked into it. So I went on a search to find out what is going on, all right? And there's some simple answers and there's some more complex answers. Simple answer, just motor control, right? There's a weakness in motor control. So my suggestion to this individual was pick a point in front of you and walk to that point. Now, it may not be as simple as that, but she's going to try that on her end, and I'm going to dive into the research and the science of it and see if there's something that we can do with the body, with strengthening the body, correcting some weaknesses, things like that. So as I went through my search, gait disorders came up, okay? Talking about gait disorders and how we walk. One of the main issues is gait velocity. Okay, now what does that mean? It means how fast we walk, right? Yeah, you got it. Gait velocity, speed of walking, remains stable until about the age of 70. Then it declines about 15% per decade for usual gait and 20% per decade if you're a fast walker. Gait velocity is a powerful predictor of mortality. I didn't know that. Good news. As powerful as an older person's number of chronic medical conditions and hospitalizations. Guys, and we've talked about this, the number of chronic illnesses that you have, that impacts your mortality greatly, okay? So we want to keep moving because exercise keeps us healthy. After the age of 75, slow walkers tend to die greater than 6 years earlier than normal velocity walkers and greater than 10 years earlier than fast velocity walkers. Gait velocity slows because older people take shorter steps at the same rate. We call that your cadence. The most likely reason for a shortened step length, the distance from one heel strike to the next, is weakness in the calf muscles, right? That's weakness in the back of the leg. You have your gastrocnemius and you have your posterior tibialis back there doing the load, doing the work. These muscles, your calf muscles, propel the body forward. The calf muscle strength is substantially decreased in older adults. However, older people seem to compensate for decreased lower calf power by using their hip flexors and extensor muscles. So what this is telling us is as we get older, our calf muscles we use less and we're using our hips more. Well, that's going to create some issues because now our hips are going to become tight. And it talks about this research in here too. I'm going to go through a couple of things, and then guys, my resources and sources are posted online at my website. You can pull these very notes I have in my hand right here. I don't want to take a lot of time in class. Let me encourage you to go take a look. There's a lot of good information here. All right. Cadence is a big deal. Remember, cadence doesn't necessarily change with age until we get to about 75, and that's a predictor in our mortality. Now, one thing I did want to talk about is our forward lean, our walking posture, because that matters with balance. You hear me talk about posture? One of our pillars is posture. Walking posture changes only slightly with aging. Older adults walk upright with no forward lean. However, older people walk with greater anterior, or that's a downward pelvic tilt, guys, with your hips kind of walking forward like that. With a downward pelvic rotation and increased lumbar lordosis. All right, so we're leaning forward. Think about all that pressure on our back, all the work those muscles are having to do. So when we're in here doing that founder's exercise, you guys feel that, and we're strengthening our core, our lower back. All right, the posture change is usually due to a combination of weak abdominal muscles and, we just said it, tight hip flexors. All right, so that changes your posture. Your hip flexors, think about that. Everything is connected. Our hip flexors impact our posture. That's why we have a flexibility pillar in here, okay? Now, an older people also walk with their legs laterally rotated. So that means they're talking about walking with your toes out, okay? Laterally rotated. This is saying about 5 degrees, possibly because of loss of hip internal rotation or in order to increase lateral stability. Now, their foot clearance is unchanged in the gait. So, guys, basically what this is saying, you can see a number of factors that can contribute to throwing someone's gait direction off. You've got the lumbar lordosis, you've got the tight hips, we've got the weak calf muscles. If I'm trying to walk to a certain point and I'm communicating with someone, all of these factors can contribute to also walking a little bit off my path. Now, that's not even taking into account neurological diseases like dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, things like that, okay? Last little bit I'm going to leave you with. I wanted to leave you with a little tidbit. I blew right past it in my notes. Deviations from path are strong indicators of motor control deficits. Here's the good thing. Motor control deficits, guys, things that we do in here like crossing our foot over, doing the trace D, right? Those little motor control exercises, that's going to help you, all right? That's going to help motor control, right? Let's say you're at the pantry and you're looking for honey buns, right? You're reaching back in the bag. Those little motor control exercises that you're doing or shouldn't be doing are going to help impact all the brain and the functions that's working, okay? You guys buy that? Got him, huh? Got him good. All right. Guys, all this is sourced from, the source here is going to be Merck Manual, so that's a good quality source there. Check it out, mybalanceuniversity.com, okay? Let's rock and roll. Let's step to it. I'm pumped today.